Got the game from the old school. Focus on break no rules. Operate on my own truth. I've been making my own moves. I keep hearing this game saying you could be the one if you so choose. Got the game from the old school. Focus on break no rules. Operate on my own truth. I've been making my own moves. I keep hearing this game saying you could be the one if you.
Alright guys, Hussle coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. So, on this day, we, or at least I should say, I am going to just pay homage to the big homie. None other than my guy. The guy who gave me a lot of ideas, basically. The guy who kind of like, whose just way of doing things and whose just demeanor, if you knew him, basically, behind the scenes and not on, just the rapping thing, If you talk to him or if you really sat down with him, whose demeanor like rubbed off on me and shaped my character and like being in this place we call the City of Angels, the city of Los Angeles. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to keep it completely funky. Okay. We talk about dissensions between, let's say dissensions between African Americans, dissensions between, it's like African Americans versus Caribbeans, Caribbeans versus Africans, African Americans versus Africans, this, that, and the other. But, there's also dissension between us Africans, meaning East African versus West African, North African versus West African, this, that, and the other. I can't even front now. Nip kind of changed my whole insight on that crap, man. Really, from talking to him and from his family's his family's openness. I remember like it was yesterday, man. Now, when it came to the music part, I was messing with his music for a long time. Like Bullets Ain't Got No Name, Volume 1. I was listening to that. Volume 2, Volume 3. The TMC mixtape, the Marathon Continues mixtape. Was listening to that. And then, fast forward, I think, when he came out with that Crenshaw mixtape, and when he came out with the Mailbox mixtape, that's when he I would say, really came into his own. That he was able to, I want to say, his sound was, he was able to transition into the modern sound while still holding on to his root message, That's one thing I will say about him, when those mixtapes came out, because I'm not gonna lie, those mixtapes, they really kind of they kind of just set the stage, for a lot of other things. Those mixtapes, you could listen to all the way through. To be honest, there was no fillers on Mailbox Money. There was no fillers on Crenshaw. Also, to take it a step further, there was really no fillers on Slauson Boy 2. You know, that was just kind of like an appetizer before the Victory Lap came out, you know. So I was messing with his music before, you know. But, you know, again, I'm going to go back to this subject. It's a kind of like taboo subject, but, you know, from living in Los Angeles, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie at all. I have, like, encountered, like, Ethiopians who feel like they are, like, superior. Like, very, very much so. Like, superior to us West Africans, you know, in a certain way. Like I want to say, like, almost like looking down at us, almost like turning their chins up at us. And I'm not the only guy who's experienced that. You know, my other, you know, fellow countrymen from Senegal experienced that. You know, Nigerians have told me the same thing, you know. They always ask, you know, what's up with that and whatnot. And I think a lot has to do with that proximity to the Red Sea because, you know, obviously on the other side of the Red Sea, you got Yemen and you got Saudi Arabia. And some people will argue that that place was just a colony of Ethiopia at one time or another, right? But I will say something. One thing I noticed, and this was very amazing and very crazy to me, was that, you know, with Nip and with other Eritreans, their get down was different from Ethiopians, and they kind of like further strengthened my resolve in the respect I have for, you know, Eritreans. And the reason for that is the simple fact that you know, to be honest, every Eritrean that I came across was chill, was kind of laid back. You know, now granted, they came from that same geographical region as Ethiopians, but their get down was different, man. Like, even I had a athlete of mine, you know, one of the athletes I coached, he was Eritrean. You know, his mom was real chill. His mom would like bring me like sweets and everything, man. His mom was really, really chill. When I went to Santa Monica, man, to shop, you know, there was a Eritrean woman, man. She was chill too, man. She straight up, you know, was like, here's my Facebook, this, that, and the other, whoop to whoop to whoop. I'm like, cool. Now fast forward, I go into the Marathon store. You know, I'm just sharing my memories of how it all happened, you know. And if you want pictures with me and Nip, man, all you have to do is just, you know, you can hit me up on my IG, man. And I'll be happy to send you some, you know. But anyhow, fast forward, I go into the Marathon store because I said, man, we got to support the local businesses, man. Especially we got to support like the urban businesses, man, the urban streetwear business. You know, because I like wearing street clothes, like street brands that are like not really well known, but are still popping, man. And so I went into the Marathon store, right? First person who greets me is Nip's dad. You know, Dad is calm, chill, collected. His dad asked me, "Are you African?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're from the West Coast, right?" And I'm like, "Yep, sure am." So, you know, I buy some clothes, you know, and we're chopping it up. He's talking about Eritrea and, you know, the struggle that they went through to achieve sovereignty and whatnot. And so, you know, that kind of sparked me. And I kind of got a book on the EPLF. And so I started reading about it, you know, and then I returned back, and then we were just chopping it up some more. I'm like, man, you guys went through that. You guys did that. You know, I said, man, that's amazing. You know, and so we just started chopping it up about that. And then after that, you know, I met Black Sam. You know, Black Sam, you know, it's like, yeah, man, thanks for support. You know, thank you for the support, you know. He's like, you always buying some stuff from here, man. Good looks. You know, I'm like, yeah, man, no problem. You know, you good peoples, man. I said, you and your dad are good peoples, man. And, yeah, it was all cool, man. It's real good. And then we were having a community event. And that's where I met Nip, you know. First time I met him, he comes up to me, he's like, yo, what's good? You good? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I'm cool, man. What's up with you? And then after that, we just started talking about just all types of crap, man. Like about like LA, you know, about like what's going on in LA, about gentrification, about his music. You know, I said, yo, man, I even told him, like, yo, you got to put some of this stuff out, man. Even the little snippets you give us that you know you were thinking about putting on your project, but you didn't put on your project. I said, yo, man, you got to put that out, man. You got to put it out. You know, I said, you may not feel like it's up to par, but bro, it's up to par. And so, you know, we would talk like that, man. We would talk on the music tip and things like that, and just talk about other things. You know, he said, you gotta go to Eritrea, man. He said, you gotta go. And I said, you know what, man? I do want to see it for myself, man. Because you went, and this country unfortunately give too much misinformation about it. This country make you feel like that if you go there you can't be free, or you can't do anything there. But I say, I be seeing your flicks, man, and it look like you chilling. And so yeah, like he told me, yeah, he's like, yeah, man, you gotta work on going. You gotta push. You gotta push to try to make that happen. And so I was like, yeah, man, bet I'm gonna try to do that, man. And so what happened was I'm still set on going. You know, I'm still gonna plan on going sooner or later. You know, when I go back home and visit my folks, I'm just gonna catch a plane from there and go to Eritrea. Check it out, man. For real. So I can see for myself, you know, and not believe the misinformation that is often given about a certain place that doesn't align with what this place has align with the plans that this place has for it. But yeah, man, I just want to make this video giving the big homie happy birthday wishes, man. You know, Che Guevara and Thomas Sankara said something very powerful. And I keep this with me, you know, when I think about like the fallen soldiers that we had in this struggle, you know. You know, in his book, you know, Thomas Sankara says a quote. He says, "You can kill people, but you can't kill ideas." And so the idea is very strong for me that, you know, the idea of ownership is very strong. The idea of sovereignty is very strong. The idea of self-sufficiency is still very strong with me, you know, and the idea of like basically being able to have a say in your destiny, have a say in how you want a project to go, no matter what that project is still strong with me. The idea of a people's democracy is still strong with me. You know, a popular people's democracy is very, very strong with me. You know, the ideas of grassroots is still strong with me. You know, and these ideas, you know, I look to, you know, fully exercise these ideas here, but more importantly, exercise those ideas back home, where I feel we need it more at, where we need more empowerment at, where we need more self-sufficiency at, where we need more hope and dignity and just more uprightness for ourselves. And if it's anything that, if it's one thing I took from Nip Hussle, it was just to be on your squares, man. Be on your own too. And that also, this is the most important thing, that the universe will align with you when you are doing the right thing. When your intentions are clean and your intentions are pure, the universe is going to align to make sure that those things happen. And we saw that when he was able to actually close escrow on the Slauson parking, on that Slauson Plaza, when he was able to actually own those buildings. He got the opportunity to. Everything aligned up for that to happen. Although it wasn't supposed to happen, the universe said, nah, he's doing the right thing, we're going to make it happen. And what I mean by the universe, I mean the Most High. You know, we know him as Allah, or at least I know him as Allah. You might know him as God, whatever. But you know. But anyhow, man, happy birthday. Happy 34th birthday to the big homie. You know, and the marathon continues. Hussle signing out.